Hi viewers, it's really been quite some time that I have been here talking to all of you all. In fact, of late it was a little disturbing when I hear the death of so many youngsters, young entrepreneurs, young businessmen, young businesswomen. And when I had a one to one talk with a few families, what I realized is he has committed suicide due to financial problems. Now, that too financial problem which doesn't run in thousand, which runs in lakhs, which runs in crores, and they reach a stage in life where they find no way of accomplishing these things, and I think suicide is the final result. So when I went deeper into this and studied the psyche of these youngsters, I realized, it was my realization that all this is happening because of this false prestige, duty shan, show off, and other things. See, they all have all the kids who or the youngsters who have died of recent because of failures in businesses or lot of hand-on borrowings from banks and other private institutions. They all come from a very humble family. They come from a humble background with a normal education in some local school, and then of course college in some local area here. And once they come out of the things, they feel that instead of, because lot of talks on entrepreneurship, instead of you becoming a job seeker, be a job giver. They get motivated in that. And then there are a lot of agencies who give them very lucrative ideas, like you'll get a loan for this, loan for that, and all. But what these kids don't realize, or these youngsters don't realize, they don't go in for proper mentoring before they can take the plunge. I think everything needs a mentoring. You have to listen to success stories of other entrepreneurs and failure studies too. But no, see, always when I talk about business or when I talk about entrepreneurship to women or whatsoever, I always say have a small beginning. Everything does have a small beginning. Okay, you have a dream, you have a preconceived idea, you have a notion. Try to work it out in a small way, whatever it is. Even when women want to open food counters, I said first open the food counters or whatever it is from your own kitchen, from your house. You see how the public reciprocate to it. Then you can move into a little space outside your house, make a shed and that. Once that picks up, then you can open a restaurant or a small cafe or a canteen elsewhere. This is how it should go. But these youngsters, they carried, suddenly you see, in the one building they take up, and they spend and lakhs for the interiors to make it a little bright and snazzy. And the next thing you see, these youngsters who are going on a rickety bike, you suddenly see them in this posh cars, the all those sedans and the all new generation cars, the XUVs and all that. So, but from where did this money come? Of course, it has come from borrowing. And the new generation banks, as a senior citizen, I have observed that the new generation banks have got lot of hidden or extra charges, hidden charges or extra charges which doesn't come to our notice when we borrow it. These are the things, and the main thing is the mentoring. So all these youngsters, they want this shan, I said, duty, shan, dikhawa, false prestige. Okay, the ones who are going on in ordinary clothes, suddenly when they take up the business, though, you see them flaunting all designer wear, branded clothes, branded shoes, and a very branded laptop. Meager things which are necessary for a business house. If you could take it with your own little savings or a small borrowing from either your parents or your well wishers, where you needn't have to pay an extra amount of interest. They don't realize that. They just take the plunge. I've come across so many youngsters, in my day to day life who are taking. They said, some of them do come to invite me, being my friends' children or my friends' niece, nephews, and all. They come with, like, no, I'm opening this. I said, okay, how much you have invested? He says, I've invested this much, I've invested. What about the returns? What about the thing? ಅದು ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಅದು ಹೇಗೋ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದು ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ and all. But without the market survey, without the hand in knowledge of the product, without the ratio of knowing the profits and losses, without realizing the repercussions of what will be, they just take the plunge. And it is so pathetic when you see their parents weeping. ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ಚಂದ ಮಾಡಿ ಓದಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು, ಈ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಡ ಇತ್ತು. Yes, business or entrepreneurship, or you are working out something, that is not a bad concept. But the bad concept is when you try to flaunt things which is not exactly needed. Why do you want to go in for a posh? Okay, there's all these mobiles and all, the mobile accessory shops and this, that, and all. They give, the brands, they give a very, very a rosy picture. You take a franchise, we will give you this, we will give you that. Initially, you do this and all. I have studied these modules also. But these young children, they don't realize that. I don't say that it's an washroom. Why you have to go for this much? And there are people who go into certain businesses without knowing having the knowledge about it, or without knowing what or where they are heading to. And just that, start a business, start entrepreneurship, whatever it is, I'm for it. Okay, you be a job giver rather than a job seeker. You see that 10 of your friends involved with you and work, but the youngsters, I give them a small message. Start it in a small way. For the first 6 months, start it in a very small way. Do a proper market survey. Even if you're getting loans from somewhere, you see what are the charges and what are the rate of interest and how is it going to work out for you. When you're taking a premises, see that you take a premises which is just enough for you. It's not that you have to take a very, 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 very big premises. Okay, who said that you have to wear branded clothes and branded shoes and branded accessories to prove that you are an entrepreneur? You can go in your very simple way. Okay, you can go on a two-wheeler instead of going into those big, big vehicles and all. And whatever the installment or whatever you have to pay, 30 दिन तो ऐसे निकल जाते हैं, एक महीना तो ऐसे निकल जाते हैं. Without you accomplishing something here, that the amount goes on mounting, whether it's the EMI or whatever it is, it goes on mounting. And some business houses, when they take they offer a franchise and you take a franchise, and next you feel like you are not able to do it, you have to discontinue it. They don't oblige. I've seen many places where the youngsters are due, where they don't get the money back from the company when they say that we don't want the franchise. Okay, so instead of all these franchises and instead of all those high funda things, you have a dream, you have a vision, you have a product knowledge, you have something that is reaching out to the people. You know that there is a demand for that and you are ready to supply that particular thing. Work out all these strategies properly. Youngsters, sit and think before you can take a plunge. Really do sit and think. And rather than hearing all the success stories of people, go into the mode of some of the failure stories also. Whenever we have these training programs and seminars, you just hear all those success stories, all those successful people saying, I did this, blah, 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 blah. But what about the failure stories also? They are also stories, So the youngsters need to listen to them also. I think a lot of untimely deaths, a lot of suicidal deaths among young entrepreneurs can be avoided if you are very, 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 very careful before taking the plunge. And if you don't go in for all this false prestige, funda, jhoote shaan, jhoote dikhawa, show off and all. So one small advice from a senior person like me. Friends, even when your children are coming out with some ideas and novel things, just sit with them and have a one-to-one talk with them. See that you too go around with them when they are doing a survey in the market or when they are really going to take the plunge. And as far as avail loans only that much which is needed. Not that, and some youngsters I've seen, they borrow a huge loan and some of it they put it for the business, some they use it for the vehicles and something else they invest in something and all. Don't do that. And as parents, we have got the responsibility of mentoring our children to a little extent, though we don't know the new generation funda or the new generation business things, though we don't know, at least the experience over the years in managing our finances, just about the finances what we had in working out our life so effectively. I mean, at least that knowledge is enough to mentor our children to a certain extent. So I just have a very good prayer that I don't want to hear about any more death of young entrepreneurs. I don't want to see any mother wailing or any sister crying over the loss of a brother or a brother crying over the loss of his sister because of the business failures. This is my keen and humble, a small wish that this should never happen henceforth. So thank you.